What's up guys, it's Drac, and this is the Mando Amban phase rifle. And in the spirit of full disclosure, this is actually my second time making this video. It's my second time making this video because I did something I almost never do. And while I was editing, because I was a little late to this one, I got mine delivered, and that's part of the problem, is that you never know when you're gonna get yours delivered. Out of everybody here at Aethernaut, 3 of us pre-ordered this one, and only myself has theirs so far. So it's a real toss-up. I had some time to do the edit, to watch the footage, and to actually look at what some other content creators were saying about the Mandalorian Amban phase rifle. And I want to be very clear. All of their complaints are valid. Everybody had a slightly different experience. This was a very expensive product, and there are things that you could justifiably be pretty upset about in regards to, you know, if your box was destroyed in shipping, if your pre-order got canceled, if you're upset that the Canadians have a cheaper version for like $50 less. The list goes on and on and on. Maybe you're upset with the overall quality of the product, or its paint job, or its lack of paint job. There's a lot of reasons to be upset, but I'm gonna try something new. And so what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be a dishonest review, and it's just gonna be an overwhelmingly positive look at the product. If you wanna be mad at the Amban Phase Pulse Blaster, or you just wanna be mad at Hasbro Pulse, again, I'm with you. I agree on a lot of levels. However, I really love the Mandalorian, and I want to be pleased with my limited edition product, and I want to tell you all the things that I like about it that I think are pretty cool. So with that said, here is the overwhelmingly positive Amban Phase Pulse Blaster review. Let's go! So kicking it off first with the box, if you plan on displaying this in or outside the box is actually quite handsome. If you're showed up with a sticker on it, a little heat gun and goo gun should probably do the trick. If you do plan on opening the box, I just want to point out there's a lot to like about this. It's an almost Art Deco styling all the way through it. It's got literal Mandalorian text all over it. It's got good silhouettes, good deco, and it actually opens up to almost a display piece here where you could very easily put this on your collector's shelf. The shiny plastic insert is a little cheesy, and when I tried to open this properly, my box kind of tore up. It was a little destroyed in packaging, so I don't think that I'm going to be keeping my box, so to speak. The blaster comes with some elite darts, and you all know how we feel about elite darts, but the blaster itself is what you're paying for. Over $100 gets you the Amban Phase Pulse Blaster. This in particular is the deluxe limited edition version. We were led to believe that you had to pre-order this to get this. It's in stock right now on Hasbro's website. It's on stock on Amazon, it's on shelves in GameStops. You can get it if you're interested, certainly. Now let's start with the thing that it does well. With, you know, nuking from orbit aside, this looks like the Amban Pulse rifle. I mean, it looks like Mando's disintegrator rifle from the show. It's got the tongs. My tongs are relatively straight, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's got the overall kind of stock aesthetic. The molding on the product is good. The stock plastic looks like wood. It kind of stops looking like wood the closer you get to the mold release, but what are you gonna do? It's got all of the greeblies and attachments that you expect it to have, and then most importantly, it's a functional prop in that it has moving pieces that do things. Here we open up this breech. We can even tease one of the special edition darts into the breech there. Then you're gonna come in, close that, you get the charge up noise. Cock it gently so that it doesn't bump fire, because for some reason this product has slam fire, but that's a feature. Overwhelmingly positive. This blaster has slam fire. Your single shot sniper rifle can be bump fired if you want to hold down the trigger, and then it fires. The performance is nothing to necessarily write home about, but it is a relatively close to full scale prop. I mean, Pedro Pascal is I think 5'9" or something, so like, I'm not exactly his height, but I definitely, like, as a grown adult humanoid type character in this galaxy far, far away, I mean, that's a lot of blaster. And if you were working on a Mando suit and you wanted a prop to kind of be part of your costume or your outfit for Dragon Con or Comic Con or anything like that, maybe you're just gearing up for Halloween, maybe you're heading to Star Wars Celebration, which is hard to get into, but gosh, I want to go. This is a really cool base for that prop. And while they definitely didn't go overboard with the paint job, it's a good base, right? And that's kind of where a lot of these cosplay type blasters sort of break down into, is that somewhere along the line, at the Hasbro Toy Development Lab, they radically changed the color scheme on the things that could be confused for rifles. Now, this looks like no rifle I've ever seen before. However, by making it white with a lot of neon orange going on, no one's going to get hurt playing with this in public. They might look silly playing with it in public, but with the right suit of Beskar armor, I think that you could definitely pull this off. So again, you're not using this for its super duper practicality in the Nerf war, but as far as the role play elements go, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. It's got the click, 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 pow, and all of the sounds that go with that. Now, it has kind of a lighted sight here. There's a button here, and the light turns on. It sort of just illuminates a single LED inside here, and all of that is controlled by AAAs that are conveniently kind of disguised in the overall shell by being in this like almost, I guess, gas tube-esque thing going on down here. The molding on everything is good. The paint job, as you guys can see if I get it up closer, is going to be a little different depending upon, you know, which one you get, since I think that these are all, you know, painted separately. But the paint job isn't amazing. The dry brushing and the weathering is so-so, but I mean, overall, like, it looks like exactly what it is. If you do no paint job whatsoever, people are going to know that this is the rifle from The Mandalorian, and they might not even know it's a Nerf blaster. So it certainly serves that role as a prop, and I think that if you wanted to take it to the next level as a prop, you save a ton of time. You couldn't 3D print a shell this big for the cost of, you know, all-in quality filaments, printer cost, maintenance, and electricity and everything. You couldn't print a phase rifle off of some generic. That's assuming you have a free file set for it. You couldn't make one of these for the cost of just buying an injection molded, super durable, toy quality one at this scale. So in that way, I think that it's a huge hit. Let's take it outside. Let's give you kind of a life-size me holding it sort of vibe for the blaster, and we'll put it over the chronograph once or twice. All right, so we're out here, and you guys can see the Mando rifle for scale. Like I said, I mean, it's got a lot of good stuff going on it. If you're admiring my sweet dart storage solution here, we do sell these hoodies on foamproshop.com. They're actually one of the best clothing options we sell. They're super comfy, and they have a cool name on them. So, like I said, I mean, that's a pretty good scale kind of idea of how big this is. If you were going to use it for cosplay and throw it on your back, I think that it would look like this, and you would definitely want plenty of rigging for it. You'd probably want something at the back to keep it from swaying back and forth. I've had to do that with larger swords for like Renaissance fairs and stuff like that. The overall comfort of the blaster is pretty janky. I mean, it's a sci-fi blaster. This shoulder stock is great, but then there's like nothing here, so you have to do this and then that. It's a little funky. Also, the trigger itself is pretty sharp in here, but you know, again, we're going for like overall fantasy feel. Like, I'm not reviewing this as though it's some pro level sniper blaster Nerf homemade da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is a cosplay prop that just so happens to have light sounds and shoot Nerf darts. The scope doesn't do a whole lot, certainly not in any sort of ambient light situation. The only use I could think of for the light up scope is really if you're like doing a photo shoot in the dark or something. I don't even know if the scope lights up in the show. I'd have to rewatch it looking for that specifically. But as far as the Crony data goes, 63. Not bad, not bad. Let's load up one more. I'll show you guys that sweet slam fire feature. Error. So the slam fire is not doing it any favors in terms of its overall range, but we can go ahead, get that locked and loaded in there, and definitely more of a basement battle style, over the couch kind of. Listen, pretend that your younger siblings are Jawas and that they just dissected your favorite rocket ship, and then you disintegrate them behind your mom's favorite piece of furniture. Anyway, it's got a lot going for it in terms of the aesthetics. I think that I'll probably wind up repainting mine and give you guys a full sort of breakdown of the blaster and let you know sort of what it's got going on inside, and then, you know, how difficult that process is going to be to turn it into something that really looks like our boy Din Djarin is running around with it. But overall, I want to say that I'm pleased. Now, I'm in a category that, because I don't want it to be overwhelmingly positive to the degree that it seems like I'm shilling for it. I'm in a pretty unique category, and I'll disclose that. I am a huge Nerf fan and a huge fan of the greater Star Wars universe, and I think that The Mandalorian is probably the best Star Wars work we've had since Solo. And it's just a really great show. I like it a lot. And when this came out, I was willing to pre-order it. As a general rule of thumb, video games have taught me that pre-ordering in general is foolish, and if something is really, really good, it's worth paying the extra $10 every once in a while to get scalped on it, as opposed to, you know, being behind the gun of a pre-order that winds up being sort of kind of meh. After all, we can't all be cyberpunks, right? But I think that this thing has potential. I'm definitely not upset with my purchase. I've spent, you know, over $100 on Nerf blasters before all the time, and Nerf projects before all the time. This is literally my bread and butter and something that I love to do. So as far as this one in particular goes, we will probably start working on it over the holiday season and make it into something that I'd be comfortable throwing on my back for Dargan Con. But in the meantime, it's a full-scale prop. It's not bad. I don't know if it's quite showcase ready, where without the packaging I would hang it on the wall, but with a little love, we are in fact Nerf modders, so it's time to take it beyond its face value and do something special with it. That's just my take. Again, if you want to be mad at Hasbro or mad at this blaster in particular, there's lots of content creators that have you covered, but in the interest of a little bit of holiday cheer and mercy, I'm pretty stoked about it, and I'm glad that I've got mine in hand so that I can tinker with it during our holiday break over here. Thank you guys so very much for watching. As always, much love, blast on, Drac out.